Why is Mitch McConnell and Republicans so hard-pressed trying to stop the American people from getting to where the money resides in 2021 in the form of stimulus?
A lot of people watched it, but nobody's watching day to day, all day, unless you're me and just love this stuff. Procedures are okay, but we want to know, where do you stand? And so I think the more that politicians stop trying to be politicians and be people, then that will engage voters.
We reject alternative facts, so come on in here and let me educate you on the facts. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Civic Sessions, where we take a few moments to just talk about the state of play and learn something new. And I really want to talk about the stimulus. Now, everybody know, we have been going through this pandemic for what, 10 months now, and we have seen other developed nations really take care of their people. But here in America, the greatest country in the world, we seem to not be able to help fund the American people and keep them afloat. The latest form of help has been $600 to the American people, and we will unpack and get to all of that, but let's just take a moment to walk all the way up to how we got here. So back in April of 2020, oh wait, it's 2021. Happy New Year's! I just realized that. But back in 2020, in April, we had Congress pass the first stimulus bill. It was $1,200 checks that went out to people making $75,000 or less. We also had PPP going out that we thought were going to be helpful for businesses to stay afloat, to be able to make payroll, pay their rents if they're renting space, for their business and stuff like that. And we all lived through the debacle that was the PPP and smaller businesses not getting access to the funds, and larger businesses basically gobbling it all up. Around that time, we also saw the deferral of student loans, which y'all know I'm always good with that. That one I appreciate that, and y'all need to go ahead and cancel them student loans. One might even make an argument. Stick with me, but they say Trump trying to run 2024. Well, baby, are you gonna cancel those student loans? Are you gonna cancel those student loans? That's what I need to know before you come out here trying to run again in 2024. But we're not voting for you anyway. We don't want no racism and all that. I keep my student loans if I got to deal with white supremacy and racists and all that. But let me get back to the stimulus check. Let's get back, Quentin. Focus. But no. But what we also saw was an eviction moratorium, so people wouldn't get thrown out if they were renting or had to pay mortgages and stuff like that during this pandemic. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these things were definitely good, but it was something that just still hasn't sat right with me, that we are one of the most developed nations and we literally only gave our people $1,200 to survive in a pandemic when people were trying to social distance, or I think the better angels of us all were trying to social distance and wear our masks and not go out as to not spread the virus. And our government literally gave us $1,200 and said, here you go. Go forth, go away. And you see these other developed nations, like Canada, actually investing, in their people, making it easier for their people to stay home. And I've heard the alternative argument like, oh, well, their dollar is not worth, as much as ours. First off, kill all that noise. The point is, at the end of it, Canada and other developed nations are doing something on a monthly basis. No matter if our dollar is stronger or this is that and taxes are here, their government is doing something for the people. That is the whole point. And our government said, here go this little $1,200. We actually are going to politicize the vaccines. Actually, you don't have to wear masks, but you do have to wear masks. Oh, social distance. No, just open everything up. Old people will be willing to die. That was, not my words. Lieutenant Governor of Texas basically insinuated old folks would be willing to die. So it was really just a mess. So please don't come arguing with me on this right now. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. The ultimate point is that other countries were doing for their people, and our country was like, here you go. Now, not only did they just, here you go, everyone, it was actually a problem because some people did not get the original stimulus check. Even my intern, Katie, who did the research for this video, she was one of the people that did not get a stimulus check. She said that the IRS said that they couldn't verify that she was a real person. Now, I don't work for the IRS, but I can attest she's a real person. I talked to her. She's done the research, like I said. But I didn't even know that there were people that experienced that. I was a person who got the first stimulus. So I didn't really, I guess in my own selfishness, not even really think to continue to dig to make sure everybody got it, but she's a person that's paid into taxes, has filed tax returns, and apparently they couldn't verify who she was for whatever reason. And she said she wasn't the only person, that she had heard other stories of that. And so that clearly was one of the major problems in the first stimulus package. And on top of that, the PPP debacle, which I kind of referenced earlier. And so I'd really just like to ask really quickly, you, the audience that are watching, and shout out to you for watching. Thank you so much. Did you receive your first stimulus check? Please let us know in the comments that you received or did not receive, that $1,200 if you're a single person, that $2,500 if you're a couple, or in that those additional funds if you had children as well. I really would love to know that. We'd love to poll the audience just to kind of see like who did and did not get any funds back in April of 2020. So I could hear one person saying, well, the government actually provided us with help. So isn't that all we should expect from them anyway? For me, it's the long-term consequences, right? Even after the $1,200, you still saw Americans drastically dip into poverty. You saw the poverty line, or people living in poverty, increase because people were running out of money. People were losing jobs still, even with the PPP. I keep talking about that because it was such a debacle. You see people dropping out of school, not knowing if they're going to be able to afford it, not knowing if it was safe to go to school, not knowing if they needed to come home and somehow assist family members. And so you see that. And what we've also seen is COVID disproportionately impacting Black and brown communities as far as getting the virus, as far as dying from the virus, as far as being edged out of PPP, as far as dropping out of schools as well, losing their jobs, not being able to feed their families. All the while, one could make an argument that Congress kind of just put their feet up and did nothing about it. Now, y'all know I'm huge on context, so I say Congress because they are a body that is supposed to legislate and act on behalf of the people, but we must give credit where credit is due. The Democrats did put together the CARES 2 Act that they passed in the House, but it died on the floor of the Senate. I don't even think Mitch McConnell brought it to a Senate floor, which begs the question, why is Mitch McConnell and Republicans so hard pressed to not allow the American people to get to where the money resides in 2021 or just in 2020 period? Why are y'all holding on to the stimulus all while still cashing your checks when we know the stimulus that they are giving out is actually taxpayer dollars? So we fund the government. In times like these, we expect you to come in and assist us. So this stimulus is not even their money. It's all of our money. And yet there seems to be such gridlock on getting the American people their money. What's funny to me is in this latest round, before we got this next $600 approved, and we'll talk about that and what's in that bill that was just passed, we saw President Trump come out and say that he actually wanted $2,000. But we saw Republicans kind of buck him. Now, on one hand, Trump should have been at the negotiating table. He did have his Treasury Secretary, Steven Mnuchin, negotiate these things. That's how we got to 600. And then he came in at the last hour trying to, blow everything up. And so there is criticism to be had for him. But what I find so interesting is that he's been pressing for that, and Republicans have rebuked him. Now, they haven't rebuked him on much. Almost nothing. It's interesting. You okay during the impeachment with everything he did. You're okay with the credible sexual assault allegations against this president. You are okay with the white supremacy and the racism and the disrespect. You okay with all that. And I say you okay because you hadn't spoken out about it. But what you're not okay is with him pushing for $2,000 for the American people while we're dealing with a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. That's your red line. It's just very interesting to me. It's very, very interesting to me, but I'll just put that in a little bucket right now, and maybe we'll come and dig that back out a little later. I want to stick to the stimulus. So all of that happened, and now we're in a position to where new stimulus has been passed, and people have gotten or starting to get their $600. Now, I ain't got my $600. I had, I was looking. My $600 ain't came through yet, so we'll be waiting on that. Steven Mnuchin, hello. Go ahead down at the IRS, baby, deposit my $600. I'd like mine as well. My grandmother done got hers. I want to get mine. Okay? Those are things we need. Okay? We need stimulus. It's my taxpayer dollars anyway. But it is good that stimulus is actually going out. So we got $600 going out to people that make less than $75,000 a year, $1,200 for couples who are making less than $150,000 a year, and $600 for each child that is listed as a dependent under the age of 17 in this latest package. We also see unemployment insurance extended, which that was a continuous debacle. I feel really bad for the people in Nevada because Nevada is having such a tragic time in their unemployment distribution and just shenanigans and chicanery. We're also seeing rental assistance in this bill that has passed. A whole new round of PPP. You know, it's supposed to be specifically targeted for those people that were kind of edged out of the first one. So we'll see how this rollout goes for the PPP as well. Small businesses, baby, if you didn't get no PPP, check with your banks. See if you can get you some of that PPP too, so you can stay in business as well. Also in this package, we're seeing billions of dollars to buy and distribute the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, whether you agree and whether you decide whether you're going to take the vaccine or you're not going to take the vaccine, it is good that they are at least putting money behind distributing the vaccine so that those that want to get it can get the vaccine. Now, our good Uncle Bernie said, you know what, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of going along to get along. And so Bernie Sanders a couple of days ago said that he was going to filibuster the defense spending bill, which is also interesting to me because Trump vetoed the bill. And now at this point, the House came in and basically bucked his veto and repassed it with a veto-proof majority. And then Bernie Sanders was like, oh, no, ma'am, Pam, I'm going to filibuster this thing until y'all vote on the $2,000 for the American people. Ultimately, the Senate has since then continued to buck the president like the House did, and they have passed the defense bill with a veto-proof majority. But it is notable that Bernie Sanders is the one saying, I'm just sick of it. You know, I'm tired of going along to get along. You give out massive corporate welfare, corporate socialism in the form of corporate tax cuts for the rich. However, when we are literally in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, like literally, I understand you have your budgetary concerns being a conservative Republican, which I don't even know if that's a real thing anymore now that Trump has taken hold of the party and all of them have acquiesced and capitulated their power to him. I don't know that they really have a leg to stand on that anymore. But we are literally in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. People are suffering. People are dying. People are losing businesses. People potentially are going to be so behind on rent, even though these moratoriums are in, and you will not give the American people their own money, I might add, since we pay taxes. And I'm just not having it, baby. Uncle Bernie said enough is enough. He's not doing it. It's a no man Pam for him. And you know what? That is why a lot of people like Uncle Bernie. I'm not here advocating for Bernie Sanders to run for president again, but all I'm saying is in 2016, I was a Bernie bro. Now y'all know how I felt in 2020. I went on down there to be a Warren Democrat. I love me Elizabeth Warren. We definitely missed out on the gym, so hopefully I will advocate for her to run for president in 2024. But it shows you why people love Bernie Sanders, because Bernie truly is one of the people. Yes, I know he has $1 million or he has money. He's written books. He got a paycheck, but he still advocates for the people. I don't think that those two things have to be mutually exclusive. You don't have to be rich and not care about folks. Yes, by a lot of our standards, Bernie Sanders is still rich. And yes, he gets down there on that Senate floor and gives Mitch McConnell and the people the business by letting them know, I'm just not going to take this laying down when we have real American people hurting in the streets. And so we just want to give a shout out to Uncle Bernie here on the Q with Q, because those are things we love to see. Those are literally things we love to see. Now, all eyes are definitely still on Georgia because that will determine where we go. We're in 2021 right now, and depending on what happens with these two seats, that could make it easier for Joe Biden to be able to legislate or harder. Joe Biden has already called this latest round of $600 and that whole package that had the unemployment insurance and the PPP and monies for HBCUs, which I did not mention earlier, and money for vaccine distribution. He said that that was a down payment. Keep in mind, he's president-elect speaking that, so really what he says right now is kind of moot up until he gets in office January 20th. And so we're looking at Georgia to see, like, if the Democrats pick up those 2 seats, then, potentially there could be really good, groundbreaking help for the American people. Or we could still be dealing with a Republican Senate with a Mitch McConnell in the leadership position and continue to be blocked from getting to where the money resides. So, who knows? We'll just have to stick around and see. I want to know what you all think. Do you think that more stimulus needs to be given in the form of direct payment? Do you think unemployment insurance should be increased and we should move away from direct stimulus? Or do you think we've done enough? Because some people may feel that way. I would love for you to respond in the comment, and remember, dissent, not disrespect. So if you come across another comment that you don't necessarily agree with, I encourage you to engage with that person and tell them why you agree or disagree, but I do not encourage you to disrespect anyone. And so we are all big boys and big girls, and so I'm hoping that we know what that means. But please share in the comment, also like and subscribe to this page, and turn on your post notifications so that you always get caught up on the civic sessions. Baby, we have lots to discuss down here on the queue, and I just want you to be updated.